Hi, my name is Leah Marie, and this is our first video for the Gluten-Free Food Critic blog. Today we're going to be making baked peaches with a homemade honey vanilla whipped cream. Obviously, the main component of our dish, peaches. So we're going to take a knife and cut the peach in half lengthwise and remove the pit. Now, you want a peach that's firmer instead of more ripe because it'll be just as sweet, but it won't come apart when you're trying to divide it in half and remove the pit. So I went ahead and cut and pitted another peach, and we're going to add our ingredients and get these ready for baking. So the first thing we're going to add is about a half tablespoon of butter to each. It doesn't have to be exact, but just somewhere around a half tablespoon would be good. And the next thing we're going to add is brown sugar. About a teaspoon, maybe two if you like them a little sweeter. And you can use light or dark brown sugar, it really doesn't matter. It's all up to you, maybe what you have on hand or what your personal preference is. So we're going to go ahead and add this to each one. It can be a little messy, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's all going to end up in the same place. Lastly, we're going to add our two spices. First of all, gotta have cinnamon. We're going to add about maybe a third teaspoon or so, basically just a little sprinkle to each. And then we're going to add pumpkin pie spice, which is a combination of a bunch of spices, including cinnamon, nutmeg, and some more savory spices that give it a nice, deeper flavor. And we're going to add a little less of that, maybe a quarter of a teaspoon, just enough to give it a little extra flavor, but not too much that it's overpowering anything. And once we get these all sprinkled with our spices, we're going to go ahead and pop them in the oven. Okay, these are ready to go in the oven, which I've preset to 375 degrees. These will go in for about 30 minutes until the butter and brown sugar is nice and melted and the peaches are really soft. And next, we're going to start making our honey vanilla whipped cream to go on top of the peaches. To make our whipped cream, we're first going to grab our bowl and beaters from the freezer. We put them in there because it'll help with the thickening process of the whipped cream if the beater and bowl are cold when we start. Next, we're going to grab our heavy whipping cream from the fridge. And already out on our counter, we have our honey and vanilla extract, which we're going to use for flavoring and sweetness in the whipped cream. So the first thing we're going to do is add our heavy whipping cream to our bowl. We're going to add about a cup, which is going to make about 2 cups of actual whipped cream when we're done. So next thing we're going to add is our honey. I like to use honey because it adds a nice natural sweetness instead of sugar. So we're going to add about, I would say, 2 teaspoons of that. Obviously you can add more or less depending on your preference of sweetness. And it's kind of hard to get this to be exact because not all of it comes out of the measuring spoon. So don't worry about it being too exact. The next thing we're going to add is our vanilla, which again, a more natural sweetness, and will add a nice flavor to balance with the peaches. So we're going to add another, I would say 2 teaspoons of that. Again, which can vary depending on your preference. As I'm dripping some in. And this is ready to start mixing. Okay, so we're ready to start mixing our whipped cream using our hand mixer and our chilled beaters. And we're going to mix on medium speed for probably about 5 minutes until this is thick and creamy. Alright, and this looks good. So we're going to go check on our peaches, which should be done. And yep, these look great. So we're going to set these out and get them ready to put it all together. Alright, so we're going to get to plating our peaches. First thing I'm going to do is use 2 spoons to scoop the peaches onto the plate. I like to use spoons instead of tongs because it's easier to control, and I find that tongs squish the peaches. And perfect. Next thing I'm going to do is grab a clean spoon and add a really nice dollop of whipped cream on top, maybe a little more. And I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of raw sugar on top. I like it because it gives a nice added sweetness and a little crunch. That was a lot. And there we go.